My silence speaks volumes. Good evening and welcome to the Final Word phone in here with me, Spurs fan, Majestic, alongside the experienced Premier League manager and former Spurs player. You're going to get that tonight, Pards. Alan Pardew. We've just seen a one-sided game in the North London derby as Arsenal swept aside Spurs 4-1 as Eberechi Eze, the hat-trick hero, and Arsenal go 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Dreamland weekend for the red side of North London. So come on, Gunners, the phone lines are now open for you to both gloat and discuss the title race, but I'm not happy at all. So Spurs fans, stand by for a rant about Spurs. We've not done that on a Sunday for a while, Pards.
No, it's going to be new stuff for us.
And as always, we want your views of the game. Phone lines now open, 03717 22 Elsewhere, there was booze at Ellen Road as Aston Villa come back from a goal down to beat Leeds 2-1 as Daniel Farke's team sit in the bottom three. If you're not happy with what's happening at the club, we'd love to hear from you. Remember that talkSPORT's bigger than ever now. You can watch us on YouTube and on your smart TV from our glorious new studios here on the 17th floor of the News Building in London. But right now, 03717 22 All's got to be said. Eberechi Eze, talkSPORT. Wow. You know what? I'm not actually that angry.
Well, I predicted that Arsenal would win this game comfortably. The reason I predicted they'd win comfortably was just the quality of the two squads. Didn't matter how Thomas Frank set it up today. I just thought with the way the results went yesterday, Arsenal at home, full house, North London derby, that was a tough agenda for Thomas Frank today. He tried to change to a different format in terms of the team. That obviously unfolded and didn't go well. And in Eze today, we had a player at the top of, a player oozing confidence and strolling around like he was playing at a different level of pace in the game, wasn't he? It was almost like everybody was rushing around and he was at a slower tempo. And he was absolutely brilliant, and he's such a great lad. I'm absolutely delighted for him.
Do you know what? Like in just sort of like a Disneyland, like in a world of if everyone was nice, it's a great day for him, isn't it? He signed to his boyhood club that he supported.
Yep. After
being released, gets a hat trick. Anyone can see the story in that, even me as a Spurs fan. But obviously, I'm absolutely fuming, and I want to point out one message here already from John. He's messaged us on WhatsApp on 03717 22 The legacy of Levy, the smug, arrogant narcissist, continues. A hat-trick from Eze, the guy that would have signed for Spurs if Levy simply agreed to Palace's payment terms when Woolwich were not even in the picture. That's from John. It's plenty to talk about, including that, the fact that Trossard scored as well. Someone else Spurs were linked with as well.
And created again. I mean, his stats are through the roof for Arsenal. He's probably been their most important player, Trossard, this season.
Yeah.
Which you would never expected, but they're such a force. And forget about the goals they've got today because they've cultivated some really good goals today. Their set plays were still brilliant, and Spurs got away with that and defended them quite well, really. But they got a lot of armoury, the Arsenal, and with the stats that they're posting, it's very, very difficult to rein them in.
And didn't Thomas Frank in his pre-match conference say who's Eze?
Did he really?
Yeah.
No.
He did. I think he did because they're trying to wind him up about, us possibly signing him. Who's Eze?
He sort of, but sometimes those little jokes that, a little bit of sarcasm, and it comes back to haunt you. So I feel for him. I've done that myself.
Yeah. Well, let's go over to the phone lines because GJ joins us, who's obviously a Spurs fan. How are we, GJ?
Not very good, chaps. Not very good.
Just quickly, though, did you expect anything other than that result going into that game against Arsenal when we have seen what we've seen in recent weeks in terms of the players, what we're putting in going forward? Did you think it was going to go any other way?
No, absolutely not, Madge. And I predicted we'd lose 2-0. I was delighted to see that Gabriel was missing because for me, he's like their... I know they've got some key players in the spine of their team, but for me, he's like the key man. But there's a way you lose. And, it's a North London derby. And Thomas Frank, right? I mean, he's looking more and more like a Danish Tony Pulis. absolute caveman tactics. You know,
GJ, let me just bring in Pards here, because this is why it's so good to have him on the show, because he is a Premier League manager. He's been there, he's done that, right?
Yeah.
Me as a manager going to Arsenal today, knowing that, you mentioned it, Gabriel out, you're thinking, yes, that's a bonus for us, but we've got nothing that can counteract that. So, Pards, if you're going into that game, do you blame Thomas Frank for setting up the way that he set up? Thinking maybe I can nullify them, ride out the first half, and then maybe change tactics, and it just didn't work?
Well, he obviously thought the players he had available, it was the right system. He obviously had players on the bench that, Johnson, for example, who come on at the end, that he could have started with. So he could have changed tactics, could have been a bit more ambitious, particularly with the back four change. That would be something like when you got to sell to players your game plan. We could exploit that position. There didn't look like a plan to exploit it. Whether Kudos playing in that sort of double number 10 role that he played with Richardson in that first half was meant to exploit that side of the pitch. Maybe that was what he was thinking. But they never got any possession. All they did was defend, wasn't it, really, for 40 minutes, the two number 10s?
We couldn't get in the game, and like every time we got the ball, like a set piece, even if it was deep in our own box, like, you're just launching it up the pitch. There are no patterns of play. And that first half performance in particular was so bad. I actually switched over to UK Gold just to see what Only Fools and Horses episode was on, but it was a groovy gang one. I already watched it yesterday. But, look, Arsenal are I hate to say it, they're a magnificent team. By the way, that referee was a disgrace today. He was a complete homer. And there was no need to be, because they were going to beat us anyway without him. But he didn't give us a decision. But I'll just quickly say, right, I've already given Arsenal the title weeks ago, lads. Once Liverpool were collapsing, they were the only team I had to beat Arsenal. That's fine. Even as Spurs fans, we've seen Arsenal win the league several times under Graham and Wenger, right? I can accept that. But I'm telling you now, Arsenal are going to win the Champions League. I don't see a team that beats them.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think there's their focus, as long as this Premier League campaign stays on the course it's on at the moment, will be very much on this. It's very difficult to double up, and I think there's other teams that could easily undo them in that competition. But certainly they're nailed on favourites now, particularly after this weekend. Liverpool, as you say, collapsing yesterday. Chelsea obviously putting in a little bit of a spurt and have took themselves up the league. Manchester City getting beat at Newcastle. It's been a great weekend for Arsenal.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the call, GJ.
Can I go back to what GJ said? Because he makes a valid point, right? When the goalkeeper in the first half is coming up just 10 yards inside his own half to take free kicks on the back of a huge Arsenal team, right? That's where Spurs could have had some possession and kept the ball a little bit and worked it and kept it away, kept it off Arsenal. So what they did was took a set play and give it back straight back to them. Do you know what I mean? So they didn't, for me, manage the game in that first half. In that system, they should have managed the game, kept possession way better than they did.
I just want to say a big hello to Nick Whiteoak and Jay Brooks. They're on their way back from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Some of the guys I work with. They said Tottenham Hotspur aren't as good as Arsenal. Tottenham obviously knew that and turning up playing with five at the back tells the players that he doesn't think you're good enough to beat these. Do you think that seeps into the players' confidence?
Well, me and Perry talked about that a little bit. As when you're changing tactics and you're going to set up real kind of, let's say, conservatively, then you got to sell it. You got to sell it to the players. They got to believe that it's going to work, and therefore and on transition you can hurt them. And maybe on those set plays, we'll put long balls in the box and we'll get something from them. But none of it worked. And therefore, that he either didn't sell it very well to the group or the group just didn't accept it and didn't believe that it was going to work, because that's how it looked. No shots on target, no shots at all, hardly, in that first half.
That's been a recurring theme for Spurs for a while now. And I just want to, before we go for a short pause, and listen, the phone lines are open, 03717 223344. Just want to put some context on this as well, because Arsenal, who look like they are going to walk away with the league this year, they look brilliant, right? But a lot has to be said for their recruitment, for their belief in Mikel Arteta, for standing by him, because I think Mikel Arteta came into the Arsenal job a couple of days after we got Jose Mourinho in, after obviously Poch being sacked. In that period of time, Spurs have had Jose Mourinho, sacked him before a cup final, Ryan Mason, brought in Nuno, sacked him after about 9 games, brought in Conte. Then we had Stellini, Ryan Mason, Ange, and now Frank. In that period of time, Arteta...
What's that, eight managers?
About 8 managers.
7, 8.
In that period of time, Arteta has brought in the likes of Gabriel Jesus at the time, was a massive signing for Arsenal, and Zinchenko, 2 Premier League winners.
Zinchenko.
Declan Rice, Havertz, Champions League winner. You know, even people like Trossard got the deals done, got the Eze's done, Madueke's. The way that they've done their business is absolutely superb. And Arteta, who was emotionally naive going into the North London derby when they lost 3-0 at Spurs' ground when we had Conte and effectively lost out on Champions League football, has grown as a manager and has created a team and a resilience and this robust team that's really impressive. And as a Spurs fan, I got to say it, and we are miles off of that, right? Yeah. And the other thing is, I never forget it, Spurs beat Liverpool, I think 4-1 at Wembley when we were building our new stadium. After that game, we were so like, we were neck and neck with them. And then all of a sudden, they bought Alisson and they bought Van Dijk. They went on to win the Premier League, the Champions League, etc. That night, when we beat them 3-0, and what they've done since then, they've gone forward. We haven't. And that is the legacy of Daniel Levy that we'll be talking about later on as well. Get those calls in, 03717 223344, in a disgusting performance from Spurs in the North London derby. Lots of people asking for Thomas Frank out. Do you want Thomas Frank out already? Give us a call.
a magic number. It is. It's the magic number.
You're trying to wind me up, aren't you? Oh. Do you know what? I cannot hate on Eze's hat-trick because he's a baller. Yeah. He's a fantastic football player. He's the reason when we got linked with him, I was so excited. He's the reason. Me and you were there. Do you remember we was over at Spurs Palace and we had a lovely day out and we saw Eze at the end of the game talking to Maddison and Son. And I believe in that game, there was rumours that Eze's family and that were welcomed into a box there, almost hello, come see.
Oh, and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and, we were courting him. We courted this player for like 2.5 years rather than, hey, he's worth 65 million, go and pay 65 million for him and you will get 3 is the magic number. He was terrific today. He is a Premier League top player, and that is why he cost the money he costs. And we were trying to use Tesco Club Card vouchers. Other supermarkets are available. Daniel Levy was popping in there. I'll tell you what to do. If we get Champions League football, I'll give you another 2 million. If he wins a Puskar Award, you can have another 2 million. And then if he wins Celebrity...
Or he gets a hat-trick in a derby.
Yeah, if he wins Celebrity
derby.
Strictly Come Dancing, Get Me in the Jungle, he can have another 50,000. All these stupid deals is why we're looking at what we saw.
Well, hold on a minute. I'll go back even further than that. Both Arsenal and Spurs, what were they doing when he was at QPR? Because I used to go down QPR on a regular basis, watch Eze and think, well, he's just standing out like a sore thumb. Like, it was so obvious that he was a top player. It was ridiculous to me that no one picked him up. And then QPR, just Crystal Palace, just come in and took him out of there. And it was no surprise to me the success he's had at Crystal Palace. And he's gone on to Arsenal. And like, when you have got... He improved when he went to Palace, make no mistake about that. But he's improved again at Arsenal. The confidence it gives you going to a big club. And typically the style he has, he's just so languid, so oozing class that he's put himself in a great position. And just about listen, you know, I'm a bit of a stats man.
You're a stat man.
Because England just broke up, didn't they?
Stat man.
England just broke up. Rogers got 2 today, right?
He did, yeah.
Eze got 3. Welbeck got 1. Wilson got 2 in the Premier League. So good sort of weekend for English-based players today.
Yeah, really.
So, yeah, really good. And Thomas Tuchel, who's had a great little couple of weeks, can look at this weekend and go, wow, okay, that's something to
ponder. Absolutely. 03717223344. Loads of messages coming in already. Don't forget the sports bar with Jay Secundi and Jamie Hurrell will be back tomorrow night from 10 o'clock. Because, people go, has anyone seen and quack. That's not what we do on this show.
No.
This is highbrow.
Yeah.
This is where I'm gracious in defeat. Like, and I don't start saying things like we're back and all that.
No, we're trying to put some stats and sense around some of what's gone on. And
I know we're Spurs.
But those guys are good though.
It's a great show.
It's a great show.
But we
love them.
That's their thing. They've even got their own background now. It's great.
Why haven't we got our own?
We need our own one. I'm going to be rallying for that, like I'm rallying for your legacy.
This was our background. It's just on every show.
It's on every show. The sports bar got
there. I was thinking.
The sports bar has pictures of Cundy and O'Hara on the wall.
No,
brilliant. Looks really good.
They don't look as good as us, mate. Do they? No. Okay.
10 o'clock tomorrow night. Save your quacks and has anyone seen for that? Because that's going to go off tomorrow night. I don't even want to hear what Cundy's got lined up. Let's go over to someone who does listen to the sports bar regularly. It's Yusuf. How are you, Yusuf?
All right, mate. All right, Pardew.
Yeah, mate. That was as bad as your miss the other night on the quiz. Oh, dearie me! Listen, is that the title? Is that the title done? Are you winning it?
Yeah, this year we're more suitable for because we have a position for every position. Yeah,
you just got everything now, in my opinion.
We don't even miss Odegaard. We don't even miss out because we have backup now. As is more of an Arsenal player, he's more suited to the role.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's the thing. I think you've invested in the right places. I think one of the biggest blessings for you lot was Havertz getting injured.
Yeah, Havertz got injured. Yeah.
If Havertz never got injured, who knows what would happen?
We wouldn't go SA because we already have stacked up many Madueke. We bought him, so we weren't even linked with him.
I know. Pards, is it Arsenal's title?
It's Arsenal's title to lose.
Well, let me tell you. Let me just give you some stats. Played 12. Goals for 24, goals against 6, wins 9, draws 2, defeats 1, goal difference of 18, 6 more than anybody else, and 29 points. When you look at stats like that, and with my professional head on, that's winning the league stats. Unless there's a massive hit injury-wise, or something untold happens with one of the other teams. They just hit us like Man City can do when you put 10, 12 wins together to sort of really close the gap. I can't see anyone catching them. And looking at the teams who are chasing, no one's showing the kind of quality, consistency that's needed to match those kind of figures. So at the moment, you'd have to say if you was a gambling man, Arsenal are red hot favourites. They've only 12 games played. Incredible.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Yusuf. 03717223344. Let's get Spurs fan on to get their response. James joins us. How are we, James?
Evening, guys. How are you?
Was you there, mate?
I was there. I left about 60 minutes. I just got home. So,
what was the energy inside the Emirates then like?
Do you know what? I want to make 2 or 3 points. So if you can just bear with me.
We're listening.
Right? The first thing, I was listening before you called me back, and you said that a Spurs fan had texted in saying this is the legacy that Levy's left us with.
Yep.
I could not agree more, okay? One of the most magical days of my life was in Ajax in 2019.
Yes.
The following summer, having proven how strong we were, we could have gone out and bought Fernandes and Grealish, and we didn't.
Yeah.
And the following January, we bought no one. And by then, it was all too late, okay? We had a magical moment under Ange last season, which covered up earthquake-sized gaps. I think Kudus was a great buy, but what a waste of a talent on a manager like Thomas Frank. And one of the points that I want to make is as follows. Last season, semi-final to Liverpool away, we were 1-0 up, and Ange took us there with the arrogance, and I use arrogance because that's what I believe, that we could set up with the back five and keep a team who were rampant out. And today, Thomas Frank has done exactly the same. We never did that away at City. We went and played. And it is infuriating watching this manager take our club further and further behind. We could have been Arsenal. We could have been Liverpool. But the legacy of our ex-chairman, the legacy of poor recruitment, the legacy of poor appointments has turned the club poisonous. And there was nothing. I'm a home and away fan, and I saw nothing today that makes me think any of those players or our manager knows what it's like to wear that cockerel in a North London derby. You can go back to Jerry Francis, Christian Gross, those days, where we were stratospheres behind a prime Arsenal team, and we'd go and we'd give it a game, we'd get a draw, but we would play with hunger, with desire, with a want. Today it was like kids' football. Every time we got the ball at the back, just clear it out, give them possession back.
James, just a second. Listen. Can I just ask the points you wanted to make, right? So I've wrote down a couple of things that you've said to try and get some clarity on what you're saying. So number one, I've got poor recruitment.
Yeah.
Would that be your number one criticism of that team? Levy in particular?
I would say yes. In particular, I think the leadership of the club, their recruitment policy.
Well, James mentioned Fernandes, right? And Fernandes, apparently, he said goodbye to his colleagues and was coming to Spurs. We didn't agree that the fee that they wanted and the wages. We went and got, what was his name? The Argentinian, Lo Celso. That was our version of... It's always another version. For example, Xavi Simons is a version of Eze. And, yeah, he's probably a prospect. He's young. He's 21. He probably will come good. And, trying to convince ourselves as Spurs fans that we got the better deal. Come on, man. Eze.
I want to go back to James' second point, which is about Thomas Frank not good enough. Are you saying that, James? Is that what you're saying? Like he's set up and the way he approaches the game is not offensive enough? No,
look, there's a Tottenham way, right? We had an extreme version of it with Ange, which got us nowhere. It got us a trophy, but if we're being real, in the league, it got us nowhere.
17
I'm not
defeats,
asking for someone to go and play football like that, but then there must be someone out there, right? You know, you've sat in that dugout, you've probably had difficult characters and you've been through patches where things aren't going the way you want them to go. But you've gone into the dressing room inspired. I don't feel like this guy inspires. You know, 2 weeks ago, his captain while Romero was out, Van de Ven, and Spence, who's been one of his best players this season and playing for England, turn their back on him. Now, to me, that's not... Yes, it's disrespectful. You don't do that in any job. You don't disrespect your leaders like that. But in the same breath, how much disdain must they hold towards what he's doing to behave like that on a global scene? It's the soul of the club is not there anymore. We don't need Angeball, but someone that can tinker as opposed to change. And like you said before, what message does it give to the players that we're going there with a back five? When you beat the Man City away this season, had a great result at Everton this season, we picked up points on the road, and you go there and you basically, it's over before it starts.
Yeah, you've let them have the emphasis to attack you. That's what you've done. James, I think you've got some valid points there. I said to Madge 2 summers ago about the recruitment of Spurs really lacked ambition. It really lacked, we're going to be a Champions League team. We're going to fight for the title. And this summer, I have to say, was very much the same for me.
No, I'd agree. 03717 223344. Yusuf thinks that Arsenal have won the league already.
Well, the stats are suggesting that it's, it's all in place.
Matt
There's no
says
doubt about it.
6 points is just 2 matches. How can Arsenal be such red-hot favourites when it's just 2 slip-ups? Not even a third of the season gone.
I think it's the goals against column.
Great position, yes, but just remember, it's just 12 games gone.
Yeah, for sure. When you've only conceded 6 goals in 12 Premier League games, look at the results yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Where Forest go and beat Liverpool by 3.
I'm saying Arsenal red-hot favourites, but I'm going to throw it back to, were they on 29 points now? After
12 games.
You know the season that Leicester won the league? Arsenal were top of the Premier League in December. And you had like Chelsea were way off that season, when Chelsea were like 16th. Man United weren't doing much. Arsenal, after 12 games...
Yeah, but the reason I'm not saying they're going to win the league, right? But what I'm saying, the stats suggest they're red hot favourites. But the one thing I would say
with the goals that they haven't let in.
No, yeah, that. But also, my technical was saying to me, what other team is going to come out of that pack and put a run together of 12, 13 wins? Chelsea? I don't think so. Man City? Possibly. Liverpool or not, they're gone. They ain't going to win it from where they are. No one's ever done it from there. I don't think they're going to do it.
No, I agree with that. But there's lots.
Aston Villa.
Lots of Newcastle. he said.
To ring that up.
03717 223344. Lots to get into over on talkSPORT 2 right now. It's a night of NFL action, including the Jets taking on the Ravens. I didn't even do my American voice from that. Just depleted tonight. And if you want to
mate.
Arsenal's Champions
League.
Come on,
find some voices.
Against Bayern Munich, you're on luck because talkSPORT bring you live coverage of it on Wednesday from 7. But right now, your calls keep coming into us. 03717 223344. We also want your voice notes on the same number. And to all my friends out there, my Gooner friends who are messaging me like I'm rattled, I know what's going on. I'm not deluded.
Yeah, you don't look like you're on the ropes, just suffering blows. You're all right.
Because we won a trophy, and I'm still living off that. I'm fine. I'm good for a bit. I'm still on that adrenaline from Bilbao, because that's gone for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the cup that needed to go over the line, didn't it?
Yeah, that got done. Yeah. So listen, Arsenal, well done. Eberechi Eze, what a player.
Yeah.
And thanks, Daniel Levy, for not signing him. It's talkSPORT.
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds, and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
Good evening and welcome to the Final Word phone-in here on talkSPORT with me, Grammy-nominated artist Majestic, alongside the star of the small screen and League Manager of the Year, Alan Pardew. And it feels like last season over again after watching a horrible, disgusting performance by Spurs as Arsenal swept them aside 4-1 in the North London derby with an Ebereche Eze masterclass. Plenty of Spurs supporters are furious with the legacy, recruitment and manager Thomas Frank. Are you feeling the same? And Arsenal fans, come celebrate your Dreamland weekend as you take huge leap towards the title. The stats don't lie. 03717 223344. The phone lines are open for you right now. Remember, talkSPORT is now on your smart TV. Just grab the app on Android TV and Google TV. We're even on Prime Video, so come watch us in our brilliant new studio. It's all about you and your opinion. 03717 223344 as Arsenal batter Spurs in the North London derby here on talkSPORT. Right, so I'm here. I turn up. I stand up. I'm not hiding.
Be counted.
I'm like the Spurs players today. Where was the you know I like to get riled up by messages, didn't you? See this one. Ryan said, Madge, you want a watered-down version of a second-rate competition that Arsenal are factually too good to be in. It's embarrassing you even bring it up.
Why has that bloke got a strange voice like that?
Because he clearly must have a strange voice like that.
You made him sound a bit dumb.
It's a silly thing to say.
Okay. It's a
silly thing to say.
Wanted to underline.
It's a silly thing to say when Arsenal.
Harsh. He might not speak like that at all.
Okay,
Can you do it in another voice?
Madge, you want a watered-down version of a second-rate competition that Arsenal are factually too good to be in. It's embarrassing you even bring it up.
I like that. That's better, that one. Yeah. It's still a bit meeky, but it's all right.
So, however Ryan talks, right?
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, Spurs won a trophy back in May.
Well done.
Exactly.
We needed to get over the line.
Yeah, which needed to be done. And again, it was always like when Spurs were playing nice football, we had Poch and we was doing nice things with Kane and Son and all that.
You know what you should do when you win the cup? Get a new manager in who's done really, really well down the road, and then buy him 3 or 4 absolutely worldy players like Eze and people like that. That's what you should do when you win the cup.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Liverpool did something similar when they won the league, but it hasn't quite worked out.
So there you go. It's no
work out, does it?
Yeah. Anyway, Arsenal absolutely battered Spurs today, and it's just again before we go back to the phone calls, context is everything. Because even like my Arsenal friends are trying to like wind me up on the WhatsApp. I'm genuinely when we beat them 3-0 when they bottled the top four. No parts.
No, you're biting now. Let it go.
No. Because I was going to say
going back. I don't even remember that game.
I have to give it context.
When was this? 5 years ago.
This was under Conte.
5 years ago.
I've got to give you the context. Cool. Ryan said, "Why did you do me dirty? Make me sound like Simon Jordan." Shout to Ryan. So listen, that night when Spurs beat Arteta, a very emotional Arteta, Rob Holding got sent off. His emotion bled into that team, right? And they got someone sent off. Spurs won 3-0. We eventually went on to get the Champions League spot that year, even though Arsenal were ahead of us, right? So since then, they've made great recruitment. They stuck with their manager because they knew there was a process there.
And he won the FA Cup. So
he'd already won the FA Cup with them, yeah. But what I'm saying is that sticking to the process, sticking with something, has led to this point now. Okay, so people are talking about, let's get rid of Frank. Let's get rid of Ange. Spurs fans, like, we've had the Contes. We've had the Joses. Nothing has changed. Like, apart from the one person who wins the trophy, who we always like, get him out, he's useless. He won the trophy. I just don't know what we want. But
the other thing I would say is that Pep was very complimentary about Arsenal and Arteta. I mean, Arteta was obviously a disciple of Pep, in the terms of the years he spent under Pep. But he more or less said that they've been brilliant, actually, for the last 2 or 3 years, which they have. They've just gone up a notch this year with the recruitment in terms of quality and depth. And I think when I speak to Arsenal fans, this is what's given them the reassurance.
Yeah, of course.
That it's the depth, isn't it?
100%.
And when you look at Spurs, with all due respect, the depth isn't of the same quality, isn't it? Not even the starting 11 or the depth.
It's nowhere near the same.
No.
So if this was boxing, and I'm looking at two fighters, clearly in different leagues.
You'd need Eddie Hearn to sell this really Spurs team, wouldn't you? I mean, try and talk it up.
Yeah, it's not a matched fight at the moment.
No.
Anyway, let's go over to a Spurs fan, see what they feel. David joins us. How are we, David?
Good evening, guys.
Yeah, mate, how are you feeling? Because I knew this was coming because we're nowhere near as good as Arsenal, David.
Nah, at work, right? They call me Happy Dave. because I'm always happy.
Yeah.
I try and find positive.
Same.
In sometimes the worst of situations, try and keep people happy. But at the moment, Madge, I'm losing it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm absolutely losing it. This was one of the most shameless and embarrassing North London derbies I've ever watched. Right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It was bad, and I think Thomas Frank is way out of his depth. Okay, I think he's way out of his depth. I think he's got to go. Okay, because when I look at other managers, I see managers like Glasner, like Riola, who are able to motivate their players to have a playing style. They don't have the greatest of teams. They don't have the greatest of players, but somehow they are able to get the most out of the teams that they have. Thomas Frank can't do that.
Do you know what, David? Great point. Now, let me bring Pards in.
No, Madge, he is way out of his depth. Okay.
Let me ask Pards that, Dave. I want to ask Pards that because this is someone who knows the league well, knows the managers well. Would you agree with that statement that Thomas Frank is out of his depth at Spurs?
No, he's not out of his depth. But what I would say is he's got a cultural change, not of just club, but of style. Because obviously at Brentford, with the resources that he had available, most of the time he was setting up not too dissimilar from how he set Spurs up today.
Yeah.
Quite a solid base, looking on transition and being good at set plays, etc., etc., etc. But now he's in a club where the demands are that much greater to be offensive, to be bossy, to really dictate proceedings in whichever format you set them up. And I think, and I defend him on this front, I don't think he's got the resources at hand to deal with it. Now, you talk about or David talks about Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace. I would swap that Spurs team for Crystal Palace team any day of the week. I think Crystal Palace are better than Spurs individually as a squad. I really do. I mean, that's saying something. That's where the recruitment of Spurs has gone so much wrong and Palace has gone so much right. So, what we're talking about here is a manager who I think has got one hand tied behind his back in terms of the quality he's got available. But he does need to make a transition himself. And I think he's finding that process difficult at the moment.
So, David, would you get rid of him tonight?
Finding the process difficult. Sorry, Pards, but finding the process difficult. He has got players of, I think, quite decent quality. Okay, if you think Crystal Palace is better, the team is better.
The team is better, definitely.
Would you say Bournemouth is a better squad than Spurs? Okay, I'm suffering here. I was born into this team.
I know your pain, mate.
The pain I'm feeling at the moment is really, really excruciating, because for a North London derby, for a manager not to be able to get a team that plays with heart, that plays with spirit, that at least puts up a fight, is absolutely disgusting. Okay, and honestly, you know what? I'll leave you guys. Let me go back, have a meditate, so that I can be happy Dave at work tomorrow.
Dave,
have a good evening.
Good luck, my brother. Hopefully you find some happiness this evening.
Hey, well, I hope you find some happy days, if that's what they call him at work.
I'm just going to read out what the Spurs goalkeeper, Vicario, has come out and said to a news outlet this evening. A very bad night for us. First of all, we have to apologise to the people that support us every day. They expected us to fight, and today we didn't fight. That's not negotiable to do in football at this level. It's a tough night, a very bad defeat, but we have to stick together. We have a big night on Wednesday, but we need to stick together. Tonight, we didn't show the things that we're normally capable of. The emotions are high, but we need cool heads and apologise to the people that support us and travel today. I think we waited too much to get into the game. We were too passive. The game plan we prepared was different. Today, we didn't fight. We have to apologise first for all of this, but we have to stick together and move on, because on Wednesday we have a big night. On Arsenal's second goal, he said, I think the way the game went, it wouldn't have changed anything. There was 3 people in front of me, so of course it impacted me, but we didn't lose the game because of that.
Yeah, he's kind of a lot of times when players talk to the press, they'll be regurgitating what the managers actually said in the dressing room, and I wouldn't be surprised if those words are not Thomas Frank's, a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because I think he would be frustrated. I would be frustrated if I was the manager of Spurs today, because I'm only going to defend Thomas Frank in terms of his record and what he's done, because he's been brilliant. He's been brilliant with the press. He's been brilliant with his team, particularly at Brentford, and he's done quite well with Spurs this year, in my opinion. Right, apart from the home form, which has looked a bit tricky. This result was really, really off the level.
Damning.
Really off the level. And when you set up a team to be kind of, okay, we're gonna let you have the emphasis, we're gonna let you dictate the game, but we are gonna be so resilient in this shape. We're gonna be tenacious. You're not gonna get through us. We're gonna be strong. All the unit is gonna be. That didn't happen. And when that doesn't happen in that system, you're in trouble.
Absolutely. Still to come, we will be talking, of course, about Villa coming back from a goal down.
Yeah, good result.
At Ellen Road. To win 2-1. Daniel Farker, how much trouble is he in at the moment with his job? I know a lot of Leeds fans at the start of, the end of last season, even when they were coming towards getting back up to the Premier League, they wanted to be gone. 03717 22 33 44. Even Happy Dave's unhappy tonight. It's talkSPORT, Imagine Parts. lot are lucky that my son won this weekend.
Well, would you really be bad?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like, honestly, you got to remember, I've grown up watching Spurs. I feel the pain of Spurs. So this isn't new. And I've learned how to live. I don't sort of risk my happiness on Spurs, because if I did...
Yeah, your life would be a mess.
I already have mental health problems. I don't need any more. Like, I can't ingest Spurs' rubbish energy at times. But you know what? Teddy, who we gave 2 weeks' wages to the other week for a bad job.
Well, yeah, let's put him... Yeah, go on.
He's making up for it tonight.
Go on, why?
I've sent him to work. I got him to bring me in from December 2019 when Arteta joined Arsenal, which is when Mourinho came in for Spurs.
Mm.
The signings that have been made by both clubs.
Mm.
In that period of time, Arteta brought in Aaron Ramsdale, who I thought was really good for Arsenal in injecting some energy into their fans.
Mm.
He had a good rapport with him, but he wasn't good enough. Then they went and got David Raya, possibly one of the best keepers in the league right now. They kept improving, right? They brought in Thomas Partey. But then they've gone, hang about, another couple of years, we're going to get Declan Rice. I'm looking at Spurs. Here we go. We brought in Steven Bergwijn, Lo Celso, Reguilon, Matt Doherty, the Daniac, Højbjerg, Joe Rodon, Brian Hill, Emerson Royale. All not at the club anymore.
37.
It's some of the recruitment that we've got here, down here. Richarlison, £58 million, summer 22-23. Great goal today, by the way. Unreal. But it's just so richy, isn't it? Arsenal, summer 23-24.
Just go back to him, because he's like, he's a weird one for me. 58 million you paid for him. He plays for Brazil. Richarlison, right? What are we saying with him? Has he been like a success?
No. Not for 58 million.
Okay. Because I've actually put some stars next to names here. Right, just quickly, who I think definitely good signings. Maddison, 45 million. Yes? You going that or not?
I'd say so. It's a shame he's been injured so much.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Madders, by the way. It's his birthday today.
Oh, well, that's where we should give him a shout anyway. Van der Ven.
Great buy.
Right, 40 million. Well done. I can never say his name properly. Kulusevski,
30 million.
30 million. Absolute massive success, right? I've got this year, although, okay, he hasn't really pulled up trees massively, but I think he's going to be a success, is Kudus, right, at 63 million. That's a lot of money, but I still think he's going to be a success. So I got him as a big tick. And Paulinho, who's on loan, Paulinho from Fulham, the Fulham boy, my old team, where he was absolutely brilliant. He's on loan for Bayern Munich, and I'm told, or the papers tell me this morning, that he's 27 million, which will be an absolute steal, I think, even at his age. Now I look through the list of the others, and I'm like, well, there's not much there.
No.
There's okay. They're decent players, they're good professionals, but not top players.
No.
No one's been like, wow, what about him? They're all like, oh, yeah, he's done okay, he's all right, he's okay. When you're at Tottenham Hotspur, it should be so much more than that. And I still go back to this window of 24-25 where you got in Rado Dragusin, am I saying that name right? Solanke, Gray, Odebear, Bergevall, Kinksky. That window there, wow.
Archie Gray for 40 million.
No, that was the window that really compounded the issues for me.
It's a really good way of saying it. It did compound the issues that were already there from the poor recruitment that had previously come. But that comes from having how many different managers? Because they all want different players. Let's go to Matt, who's a Spurs fan. How are we, Matt?
Not bad, mate. How are we doing?
Is that angry, Matt? Or...
Yeah, of course.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, the title is, To be honest with you, Majestic, we had this chat, when you came down to see me a couple of weeks ago, and you asked me a question. You said, is Thomas Frank the right manager?
You said you said no at the time.
He ain't the right manager, mate. You don't turn up at the Emirates, with 3,500 Spurs fans, and we're known to give it a go. Do you know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, we know how it works at the Emirates with our history. But you know what? Let's give it a go. He sat behind to hold on for a 0-0 at half time, and then hope for something like what Richarlison done. The bottom line is this guy's not good enough. But now. Alan, to be honest, I've got a lot of time for you because obviously you're top-end manager, and you've managed in the Premier League. Your first part of your statement about Spurs was not really great for me, and your last bit was bang on with the Dragoson and all that. This is what you get with the previous chairman, and I won't say his name because he's not worthy of anything, that guy. But the bottom line is, when you've got, and I'm sorry to say this, Alan, but if you think Maddison is a top player, I pointed this out to Andy Goldstein when he said, you signed up. No, mate, he is poor. And,
well, to be fair, I was trying to find some players that have actually been a success. So I was scratching around a little bit. Maddison was actually on my,
Mate, Maddison, I'll be honest with you, in the Newcastle team, who's, hanging the bottom and going mid-table, he won't even get in their team. And let alone to the Tottenham team, who are bad now, he turns up and he doesn't perform. So the bottom line is these footballers aren't good enough. The only two I give credit for is Van der Ven, and I give Paolino, because you know what, the potential. And Kudus has got potential. But you know what? When Majestic was talking about, when Tottenham were 2019, that day when they turned up at Tottenham, they were desperate. The guy has changed his whole team, bar Saka, and maybe one other player, because I don't know their team. But I know he's changed.
Oh, yeah, big
everybody.
time. Yeah, Matt, we've been looking at who they brought in. And again, as I said, look, summer 23-24 for Arsenal. That same summer, they bought Declan Rice for 115, who was the best midfielder in the Premier League, and Kai Havertz for 75 mil, who just won the Champions League. Okay,
but when you add all them players that they had and then they changed, and then you look at the Tottenham team, and then the players that we had, and Song and Kane scoring over 30 goals that season, and you look at that pathetic chairman, because that's what he is. And I hope he listens to this, because he's a pathetic chairman. We've got such a fan base. That going week in, week out, away games as well as home games, to leave that stadium at the Emirates with 15 minutes to go, it's an embarrassment what they've done to our football club. And the bottom line is to have 6 games at home and to beat Burnley, a Championship side, in August, and we're in mid-November, for a club like us, and to play Wolves and Fulham and a poor Man United and Villa that struggled to score goals, and to win 1 out of that 6 is not good enough. And Thomas Frank is not good enough. And this is what you get with the previous owner, chairman, shall I say, the way he's run our football club. And it's such a bad way. And these owners, and I'm saying it now, and I hope they're listening, they've got until January to start showing the fans that they mean business. Because if they don't, we're going to do exactly the same thing on the high road to get them out. Because nobody can sit there and tell me that, you can't get them out. Yes, you can get them out. Because the fans are the most powerful thing in football. And if you go against the fans and the fans protest, and you can see it all around the country, with your Sheffield Wednesdays and your Rangers, if they do it to us, we're going to start protesting and we'll get these people out. Because there's people out there that are willing to spend on Spurs and get Spurs up there where they truly belong. Because we've got the stadium, we're a big club, and I know people are sitting there laughing, going, they think they're a big club, but they're not. Now, we are a big club, but you know what? We just need a little bit of help. We need a little bit of a push to go to that next level. And to go to that next level, we need ambitious owners that are going to get in an ambitious manager, like we did with the Contes, like we did with the Pochettinos. We need somebody there that's going to go to the manager. You want a right wing back? I'm going to get you a right wing back, not Jet Spence. I'm going to get you a left wing back, not a doggy. And this is what we need. We need a lot of change.
Matt, is the first thing for the new ownership then in January is to buy Semenyo?
New ownership? Who's the new ownership, mate? Because there's no new ownership.
You know what I mean. Whoever's in charge of things now.
They have to make a statement. But if you think Semenyo's the answer, mate, he's a small piece. And I mean,
that's one piece, isn't it, to start?
You ain't going to be able to build it all. You got to go bit by bit. You only got to look at the Arsenal model to see that.
Listen, Alan, I'm with you on that. But you know what? You know how it works in football. And I know because I played semi-pro football and I played for pro clubs back in my day. You start on a base. You have to have a base. You have to have a good goalkeeper. You have to have a good solid back line. Start slowly building up. But what they're doing is they're going up and down and spending 60 million on Richarlison, 60 million on Dominic Solanke, giving them peanuts a week, by the way, peanuts. And it's not good enough because these footballers you're wasting your money on. And you know what Pedro Porro will do? Oh, yeah, we get Jed Spence in. Oh, yeah, we get Bentancur in. Mate, we haven't replaced Dembele, and that's in 2017. And Bentancur isn't his left elbow isn't even anything to do with Dembele. That's how good Dembele was.
Yeah, no, he was top player.
This is the problem with the previous chairman. He went shopping at Primark. And we need
well, do you know the irony, Matt, before we go, is when I found out that the previous person, who you won't name, owned Blue Ink, that told me everything I needed to know.
Blue Ink?
Yeah, you know the clothes shop that was always closing down? With like 90% off. There's one in every like sort of mall in the UK shopping centre.
I don't think there's one in Harrods, is there?
No. It's in like in Harlow, in Enfield Town, like where I'm from. Oh, Blue Ink, 90%
Blue
off.
Ink.
Just listen, I need listeners to message me on 03 717 223344. Have you ever seen a Blue Ink with the 90% closing down sale? Yep. Mr. Levy owned that as well. It makes sense. Matt's not happy. Matt, I'll see you Saturday night, mate, as Spurs take on Fulham, which, of course, we'll be covering here on talkSPORT. 0377 223344. Trust Matt to cheer me up on this terrible Sunday night.
It's not a terrible Sunday night.
It is
Eze got a hat-trick. And the Arsenal top of the league.
Listen, Ian Wright and Eze are having a cuddle right now somewhere. And they
are, yeah. He'd be texting him, right?
Listen, it's the final word. Have your says. Imagine Pards.
Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Some are pretty straightforward. Arsenal are the Gunners because they were founded by a group of munitions workers, and Bournemouth are the Cherries because their old stadium was built right next to a cherry orchard. Then there's Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were two local toffee shops. Ipswich Town nicked their nickname off their opponents in the late 90s, Birmingham. The term Tractor Boys was chanted as a way to tease the team about their farming background, but they started using it themselves as a way to cheer on the team in victory instead. Take that, Birmingham. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire's also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Crystal Palace's nickname came from an extreme makeover. They were having a nightmare run in the 70s, and when they were relegated, their manager, Malcolm Allison, wasn't having it. I know what will make us better, he thought, a new nickname. The Strong and Deadly Eagle sounded like a pretty good bet. And there's more to that story. Brighton used Palace's nickname to inspire their own. Ooh, but...
Turn this off. Turn this off now. Thank you. Yeah, you're taking the mic in the gallery now. It is the final word. I'd rather do it a cappella than have that on. With Mash and Pards, where Arsenal battered Spurs 4-1. Never reach it, is it? And I can't tell you how many people have messaged me about Blue Ink. Blue Ink was previously Mr. Byright, ironically. Hi, guys.
Mr. Byright, I remember that.
Yeah, I'm Guy from the Basildon, Essex area. We had a Blue Ink shop and it closed down. Wood Green Blue Ink, Harlow Blue Ink. See, all the Blue Ink shoppers.
Blue Ink.
And literally,
was it men's clothing?
Men's clothing. And there was always a closing down sale, 90% off. And the irony of that. Spurs absolutely got walloped. And in the earlier game at Leeds, at Ellen Road, wow, they're in trouble, aren't they, at the moment? There was a goal up.
They actually, I watched that game, obviously, I thought they were okay.
They are, mate, when they played against Spurs, they were okay.
They were a bit unlucky, actually.
Daniel Farquhar's going to be under a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure at the moment, and hopefully I do have a job by the weekend, and hopefully some Leeds fans like me as much as I like Leeds.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel.
Oh, it's okay. I like the show. So, 03717223344. We want to hear from... there's so many people on this phone line. There's Arsenal galore as well. We're going to get an Arsenal fan on in a moment's time. Don't forget as well, coming up after us this evening is the glorious Danny Kelly and the Trans Euro Express. Loads of messages as well. 03717223344. I knew this show was going to be spicy tonight. Let's go to Ollie, the Arsenal fan. Good evening, Ollie.
Hi, guys. You all right?
Yeah, not bad. You're buzzing after that.
I'm absolutely buzzing. Yeah, just come back from the pub watching it with a friend.
How good was Eze? How good was he?
Great hat trick for Eze. Absolutely chuffed with it.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the team, if we say like, oh, they're obviously favourites now to win the league. What could possibly go wrong? What do you think could, be the stumbling blocks for you?
You know what? It's a great question, and I think I would honestly say I'm not a deluded Arsenal fan. I think for seasons and seasons, it's Arsenal should have done it, and I've always thought, we got to pay respects to the team around us. But I don't. This season is probably the first season of many where I just can't see something stopping us.
But isn't that the scary thing though? Because when you lull yourself into a false sense of security, I think sometimes when you are worried about things, sort of in your because I'm with you. I'm looking at the league and the teams. I'm thinking, who's going to catch them?
Can I tell you what's... Perry, I'll just give him a little bit of info as well, right? Because Perry, who was in here doing the show with Sam earlier, I said to him about what a great weekend it's been for Arsenal. But today, when you got that chance to do the jump, right, from like leading the Premier League, but a big jump, there's so much pressure on you that usually you don't get the win. But they have today, and that's what really impressed me, the way they looked even confident, even though they was in this really strong position to actually get it over the line.
100%. I completely agree with you, and I think there's multiple factors. I think it's the strength and depth, seeing Madueke, seeing Wanyeri come off the bench, and still seeing so much quality on the pitch. But, I mean, I've got huge respect for both of you, obviously, and I know that there's one Spurs fan there. But at the end of the game, when those cheers were going, when the passes were being played around, it just felt like such a level of control. But Yeah, long may it last. I know.
Can I ask you one more question, right?
Of course.
When everybody's fit and right, they're all ready to go, and you've got another couple of wins under the belt, does Trossard stay in the team?
Do you know what? It's a brilliant question. Does he stay in the team? I think over a longer period of time, he's proved he deserves it. I think there was a period where I thought he was better off the bench, but do you know what? He's consistent. He does a great job. I think he does. I think
he's more goal involvements than any other player at Arsenal. Incredible that. And for me, absolutely nailed on, has to be in that team at the moment.
He's been brilliant, isn't he? Thank you very much, Ollie. Ollie's an Arsenal fan, loving life tonight. Let's go to another Arsenal fan. Carl joins us. How are we, mate?
Carl? Hey, mate.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, not bad, thank you. You?
Yeah, well, I've had better Sundays, mate, but I kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
I kind of knew it was coming, and the thing is, listen, you know, it makes me sick to do it, but this is my job, and I say what I see, and Arsenal have been dominant this season. They've been strong, and I said it on the sports bar, and hopefully we're going to have a clip of it later on during the show. When you guys got Eze, I said we might as well have handed you the league. How good was Eze today?
He was superb, and it was it could have been very different for Arsenal. I think we forget that Ødegaard's been out for 6 weeks, and if we hadn't have bought Eze, we genuinely could have been in trouble, because we'd be relying on an 18-year-old in Wanyeri, because he's the only other replacement we've got, like-for-like replacement. I mean, it was a genius piece of business from Berta.
Or spontaneous, maybe because of the injury.
Yeah,
Well, not even spontaneous.
It happens like that.
No, not spontaneous, not genius. The showings of a big club.
Yeah,
that's it. It's
a muscle.
Yeah, we need to go do this. We'll do it now. Literally, he picks up the phone. Hello, mate, you still doing an Eze deal? Yeah, Spurs are messing around with us at the moment. We'll give you 65 mil tonight. Do the deal. Done. And then that's what they did, right?
Yeah, I mean, the stars were aligned, weren't they? I think, Havertz just got injured after the United game.
Yeah.
And it was just meant to be. And on that, I do think, I'm nearly 50, and I was fortunate enough to go and I saw the Invincibles and everything else. I've seen some great Arsenal sides. Honestly, I think this is the strongest squad I've ever seen. Squad, not first 11. Because we've just got depth all over. And as you touched on earlier, I look at the Premier League and I just don't see another side really challenging us. I think City can see too many goals. Chelsea are looking good, but I think the hangover of the World Club Championship will hit them in the new year. I think they'll start
that's
getting
going to be
injuries.
a problem.
Because they're obviously flying high at the moment, but I do think come sort of business end, February, March, they will start to see some injuries, and I think by that point, we're not going to win it by March. I think Piers Morgan said we were going to win it by March, but I've been an Arsenal fan long enough to know that it can all come crashing down. But I'm looking at the squad, I'm looking at the way we're playing, I'm looking at the way we're not conceding goals, and I just don't see us bottling it, as the opposing fans love to say. I do think this is our year. I really do.
Yeah, brilliant, cool. Thank you very much to Carl there. Very happy Arsenal fan there after a great evening for them. I'm not happy with you, mate.
Go on, what have I done now?
And I'm not happy with myself.
You've missed something. We've missed something.
I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of the media, mate, because Villa have got overshadowed weekly by these 4:30 games. They're top four. When we only go on about Villa when they're not doing well. This guy, 5905, has not left his name. He's sick of us.
Well, don't blame him.
About the Villa, you've got a Villa colour on.
Well, let me tell you about something else. Not only Villa, Arsenal have lost only one game this season, right? But there is a club in the Premier League who've only lost two, right? Don't look at the league table, right? I can see you. Look. Who is it? Who's the team that has only lost two games this year?
It's not Villa. They've lost a couple.
Well, it's only two is a couple, isn't it?
Yeah. I think they've lost 3 and we've lost 4.
Yeah, that's right. That is correct. Crystal Palace.
Of course, the Palace.
Come on, the Palace.
Right, listen, we will talk Villa. And again, remember, you dictate the way this show goes. If there's loads of Villa fans calling us, we will be talking all Villa. And don't forget, you've got probably a week with Gary talking about it.
The manager did brilliant, because we know he's a brilliant manager. You only got to look at his CV, right? But at the start of the year, they had that tricky run, didn't they? And it did look like there was going to be a real season of disappointment at Villa.
We'll talk about more.
And he's just turned it round.
We'll talk more Villa after this. 03717 223 It's talkSPORT. Thanks to our friends at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas, we're giving you and a friend a chance to win the ultimate trip of a lifetime to Viva Las Vegas. That's right. Picture this, you and a mate flying upper class from the London to Vegas. That's right, London to Vegas in upper class on Virgin, checking into a luxury spa villa for 4 incredible nights at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas, cheering from the stands as the Las Vegas Raiders take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And to top it all off, you'll have £5,000 in cash.
And Taylor Swift will be there.
Oh, wow. To play with. So clear your calendar from January the 2nd to the 7th. And Taylor Swift is not part of this competition, by the way. 2026, because nothing starts a new year like Vegas. Good luck.
21 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text at £2 plus standard network rates. Bill payer's permission required. Or call 03434239761. Calls are charged at standard rate. All entries must be received by the 28th of November at 4 p.m. This is a network promotion. Run across talkSPORT, Virgin Radio UK and Talk. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
No, that's a competition to enter. Good luck. I'd love a bit of Vegas in the new year. Before we get back to your calls, following a big North London derby defeat, Spurs boss Thomas Frank caught up with talkSPORT's Alex Crook and started off by giving his feelings on the game.
Now, of course, it's extremely painful to stand here after a bad performance. Can't talk away. Don't want to talk away from that. Against the worst team we can perform badly against, so it's a perfect storm in every aspect. I think, especially first half, I think we lack the ability to go up in high pressure and get close to them and be aggressive enough in the duels. When we play longer and we land on the second ball, we didn't win enough duels. When we play shorter, we didn't have enough quality on the ball. Had to absorb too much pressure throughout that first half. And second half got a little bit better without being anywhere near the level we want to be.
3 excellent finishes from Eberechi Eze, but from a defensive point of view, you disappointed with the amount of time and space that he got for all 3 goals?
I think I'll need to look through them even closer because I think there was a few bits in the game we need to improve. But the 2-0 and the 3-0 goal, I think, have an overload, and I think have a lot of players around their players on the side, and they can still get out of it. I think that's the biggest thing, and that's why there was suddenly so much space in the middle of the pitch.
And even with the back 3, did you expect your players maybe to be a bit braver in that first half? Because I think by the time Richarlison had scored, your XG was still 0.02, so you didn't really impose yourselves from an attacking perspective.
No, I think there's something in that attacking perspective we need to look into, and we're working very hard on. And try to improve massively, because of course we need to improve that. So that's what we're working hard on, yeah.
And was the second goal the killer, really? Because I take it after you'd fallen behind, you'd already planned at half-time that maybe you would change the system, but the second goal just sort of took the game away?
Yeah, you can say, if you're 1-0 down, definitely do everything we can not to get 2-0 down, and we didn't manage to avoid that.
Spurs manager there, Thomas Frank, speaking to talkSPORT, not Tottenham's Alex Crook, about how he felt the game went. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Will, a Tottenham fan, he was at the game. How are we, Will?
Well, I'm not too good, to be honest, mate. I'm really not happy. I was in the away end at the Emirates.
Did you stay for the whole duration?
Yeah, I did. I stayed to the end of every game, mate, because at the end of the day, I'm there to support the team.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Arsenal fans singing to me all the time about, we're going to win the league and all this stuff like that, and Spurs have always been rubbish. And at the end of the day, I think we're better than them at the end of the day. So we just didn't play well today, and that's it.
Where do you think it went wrong today, mate? Apart from obviously looking at Thomas Frank, how he set up with a back 5 and that's obviously been heavily criticised. If you had the reins in Tottenham, how would you have set up against Arsenal today?
I don't know how I would have set up, but I think with Richarlison up top, oh my God, he couldn't win a header. You know what I mean? He couldn't win a header. I know they've got 2 good centre-backs, but he just did not look at the races. He scored a great goal. He always seems to come up when, we're losing. But he's not the striker that's going to get us top 4. I think Vicario, oh my God, he couldn't catch a cold. He couldn't catch a cold. And his distribution from his feet was absolutely terrible. He just shanked every ball. He didn't give any of them a chance. So I just think, really, we need to look at the recruitment. It's not necessarily Thomas Frank who's at fault, but we just need to look at the recruitment. You look at Arsenal, and they've signed Declan Rice over the last few years. They've signed Eze. You can clearly see they're going to win the league. But who are we signing? Nobody.
Parts. It's back to what we've said, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I mean, is when you get like a combination of calls, more or less saying the same thing. The recruitment. Okay, a little bit of protest about Thomas Frank as an individual, as the manager, but I think it all boils down to the recruitment process hasn't really come through. And I thought Thomas Frank was very honest in his assessment there. it was the perfect storm in terms of the way they performed in the first half. They didn't get close to anyone, didn't win any second balls. You always hear managers talk about that. It's always a key ingredient, Madge, when ball is like in a 50% kind of situation. If you don't not picking up enough of that kind of the game, then you can't get any possession. The other team have got the ball and you're getting dominated. So I think he's honest enough. I think he's good with the press, and I think he needed to be today. He needed to sort of underline the fact that they weren't good enough.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Right, still to come, we're going to be talking about Saturday's games and another terrible weekend for Liverpool. Who's had the worst weekend, Liverpool or Spurs?
Oh, Liverpool.
Yeah, can 03 717 22 334. That's coming up next on The Final Word.
Monaco, Singapore, Las Vegas. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all F1 street circuits. 20 years ago, the sports only visited 3 a year. From 2026, there'll be 10, despite the actual racing often being worse. So why? Why are there so many street circuits? Cars racing past the Casino Monte Carlo is one of the iconic images in all of sport. But in the last few years, it's been joined in the Street Circuit Club by the dazzling Grand Prix on the Las Vegas Strip, in Miami, Azerbaijan and others. And there's no sign of the trend slowing down. The streets of Madrid have also gotten involved, and there are conversations about Grand Prix in the capitals of Thailand and Rwanda. But fitting them in means we said goodbye to classic circuits like Hockenheim and Imola, angering fans who are still packing out the European tracks like Spa, the Hungaroring and Monza. And these generally produce more wheel-to-wheel action than street circuits too. At Silverstone in 2025, there were a total of 26 on-track overtakes. At Monaco, 4. I'm an F1 enthusiast. Even I struggle with that. But it appears to be a good step. In 2025, there was a record 2.3 million strong viewership for the Monaco Grand Prix in the US alone. Meanwhile, for the British Grand Prix several weeks later, 1.5 million tuned in. So why are we seeing this drive towards street circuits? Well, no prizes for guessing. Money. Formula One demands a fee of between $20 and $60 million for the rights to even hold an event. In total, including sponsorships, it's believed officials in Saudi Arabia pay almost $100 million for their race. The huge fees are possible because of the street track's city centre locations, as people staying at hotels at inflated prices and tourist sites brimming with visitors mean the cities rake the cash back in when the race comes to town. So it makes financial sense for Formula One and the cities, but will it cost the sport in the long run if F1 races are too boring? After all, nothing beats the roar of an F1 car as it flies through the forests of Europe, or mechanics watching a storm coming across the humid Asian countryside. Take that away and, well, you may as well just watch American IndyCar.
Welcome to the final word, phoning here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, alongside the experienced Premier League manager, Alan Pardew. Soon we'll be discussing another shocker of the Saturday afternoon for Liverpool. We need your help to talk about it. So Liverpool fans, this is your time. 03717 223344 and tell us what's going on at your club. But now it's time to cheer up Laura, the Liverpool fan. I know she loves this part of the show. It's the greatest quiz on radio, the mystery football song quiz. It's simple to play, as all you need to do is tell us what famous footballer is linked to these 3 songs. Remember, it could be the club he played for, or a nickname, or even a famous TV show he appeared in. So DJ Kitch, let's drop the song montage. Song 1, The Beatles, Paperback Writer.
Oh, this person might have a book.
True. What a tune. Wet, wet, wet. Hey, some bangers, wet, wet, wet. You forget, didn't you? The gallery's bopping, yeah. Classics on a Sunday. Right. Hanson and Umbop. Was this 95, I think?
2 Pretty Boys from...
97. Wow. 3 Pretty Boys.
3 Pretty Boys.
3.
What, drum one on the drum?
Yeah, that's the youngest one.
I remember that. New Jersey or somewhere.
I think they were from. Where were they from? California? I'm gonna check.
A famous father or one of the family was a.
Oh, there you go. Look, see, I was kind of right. It was recorded in '95, and it got a full release in '97. So me and Kitch are right together. I love that. So that's your 3 clues. The Beatles, Paperback Writer, Wet, Wet, Wet with Sweet Little Mystery, and Hanson with Bop. If you think you know the answer to the Mystery Footballer Quiz, and with those clues already, text us on 81089 or WhatsApp for free.
Can I ask what the clue is for Wet, Wet, Wet?
I think it's from where they're from.
Oh, okay.
Where are they from, Pods?
Liverpool?
No. That's where the Beatles are from.
Well, I know the Beatles are from Liverpool. They're Scottish, weren't they?
Scotland, that's it.
Yeah, Glasgow.
My pillow.
Glasgow.
I don't know if they're from Glasgow. I have to find out if they're from Glasgow or not.
Is that a Glasgow accent?
Maybe a Glasgow accent. Any accent at all, who knows? Anyway, I'll save some accents for later on. If you think you know the answer, you know what to do. Text us on 81089 or WhatsApp for free on 03717 223344. Let's now turn our attention to a terrible weekend for Liverpool, who got thrashed by Nottingham Forest at Anfield. Liverpool have now lost 6 in their last 7 Premier League games. It's so bad. Do you know what? I've had a bad weekend as a Spurs fan, but Liverpool are having it worse. And they spent $500 million. They are in the bottom half of the table. Wow. 3 wins in the last 11 games in all competitions. That was their second straight 3-0 Premier League defeat. Pards, What's going on?
What is going on? I mean, it'd be nice to hear some Liverpool fans come in and give us some clues, but he's got a lot of issues going on, and there's just something I've noticed with him that when they were winning last year, do you remember he kept making subs, like bringing on 3 offensive players and winning the game and winning it late, or those players come on and change the game. This year, it seems everything he touches is getting him wrong, and he makes substitutes early when he's losing, and it's a different trait. It's a different trait when you're losing to make changes. You're obviously trying to improve things, but it sounds to me like he's getting in a little bit of a mess with the system and what message he's giving to the players. Like, for example, he took off Kanati yesterday and put Ekatike on. So he took a centre-half on, but a striker on. And the 55-minute mark, this is a normal time when he makes his first substitution. He's making a lot of substitutions. So one of the criticisms you have when you're on a losing streak from a group of players, particularly the senior players, would be, Gaffer, you're changing it too much. Let us get on with it. Let the team get on with it. Let us work a way out. And you keep changing it, and we're not finding the solution. So that might be an issue. That maybe just to leave them alone. Like, right, we'll if you're going to make the subs, make them after the 80th minute or something. And I used to do that to myself. Someone give me a little personal note. Don't make substitutions early unless it's absolutely necessary. So that's something I think he should think about. This Wirtz situation is becoming a real kind of massive problem for him in terms of it's almost like when you've got like a boil on your arm and you just don't know what to do with it.
Pick it if it's me.
Yeah, well, he's got an issue there. He's got Isaac, who got all his goals from crosses and fast balls and through balls at Newcastle. Not the way Liverpool play. Inverted wide players who come in on their other foot. They're not putting those kind of crosses in behind the back four. So is he going to get the goals? Ekatike, where's he going to fit? So, and the 2 fullbacks, he brought Frimpong in, he brought Kirkes in. Both of those not really come up to mark. Conte's all over the place, Kanete. So I think it's a combination of issues that he's facing, and some of it of his own making, i.e. the acting too fast in when you're losing the game. So, but even having said that, 6 defeats in 7 Premier League games. Right. It's just hard to imagine. And there's a stat I got here: no Premier League champions have ever successfully defended their title of 18 points or fewer at this stage of the campaign. And obviously, it looks to me like the league is gone for them. That might open doors for other things and I'm particularly looking at the Champions League, right? Because do you want to know when the next game is in the Champions League?
This week, isn't it?
Sorry. Well, they've qualified, haven't they? The knockout stages, right?
They haven't qualified yet.
Yeah, I think they have.
Have they?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have. Maybe we need to get reassured of that. But when that comes around, that knockout phase, it's the 17th of February.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where I think he'll have it all sorted by then. And I think they have got a great chance to focus on that Champions League. And I would make them slight favourites for that, bearing in mind that PSG will be going for the title, Real Madrid and Barcelona will be fighting it out, Arsenal will be going for the league title, Man City might be going for the league title. I think they might get a run out.
So Liverpool are currently 8th in the Champions League table, which is automatic qualification. I think it's the top 8 go through. But they're only on 9 points. Spurs are a point behind them in 10th.
Okay, so they've still got a bit of work to do.
They've still got work to do in that competition as well. Yeah. And their next Champions League game, as you mentioned, is at home to PSV, which is a great remedy, I think, personally, that they might need. I was going to ask you about the aura of Anfield, because it's a special place, right?
Yeah.
Very hard to go to, very hard to play at, right? They've had some defeats there. Do you think they're losing the aura of Anfield, and how difficult is that to get back? Because, for example, Old Trafford, right? I think of Old Trafford. That used to be a scary place to go. Not many teams fear going to Old Trafford anymore. not the way they did.
No, that's true.
Now, if Liverpool were to lose the Anfield aura,
yeah,
how problematic could that be for them?
Well, I've got to be honest. In all my time as a player and manager, I cannot remember them losing it at home. In terms of that aura of the crowd being such a major factor in the results there.
You know, I think in this season alone, right? Nottingham Forest have come there, rolled them 3-0. In the fourth round of the EFL Cup, Crystal Palace have gone there, rolled them 3-0.
Crystal Palace roll them every 3 weeks.
You leave out you. Man United have gone there this season, beat them in a big derby.
I don't think it's a problem, the stadium. I don't think that is going to be a problem for them. I don't. There is obviously lots of issues going on there, and some we don't know about. There's obviously some conflict in that dressing room, or something that in tandem isn't working. So he needs to get to the bottom of it quickly. Otherwise, he's going to find himself, because big clubs make big decisions, right? That's what they do. He's going to find himself under big pressure, Arne Slot, very, very soon, unless he turns this ship round. And all those little issues I mentioned, the fullback situation, Wirtz, the striker, who's going to play? Salah, how much are we going to get a little bit more out of him? The captain, Van Dijk, was talking about perhaps not enough effort for some individual players in his press conference, in his presser yesterday. So stuff like that, all that has got to be nailed down really quickly. Otherwise, I can see there being more issues. But at the moment, I'm staying on the positive, and I think Liverpool are going to come through this process. But it isn't going to be next week. I think it's going to take a while.
Do you think they bought too many big name players at once, and to try and bed them all in at the same time has been difficult?
Well, yeah, I think that's, as I say, Madge, when we talked about the loss, of course,
Diego Jota,
that they've had, and the impact that's had on certain players. So I think there's a lot of factors.
100%. You know what? I see Andy Robertson after Scotland won that game talking about Diego Jota.
And you see him,
and you could see how much it was affecting him. And I've said this again, and it's not, an excuse. It's facts. Like these lads are mourning their friend, and they look around every time. And
you know, when you're, some. And I was one of those people. Didn't really lose anybody until I was a lot older. Like, a lot of those players are under 24. They haven't really lost anyone. And so it's a massive shock to lose someone who was so close and and it seemed like idolised in the dressing room
and
on a number of levels, of course. So anyway, the point that we're both making here really is that
factors and nuances,
lots of different elements to this problem.
Well, I'd love to hear from Liverpool fans what you think is going wrong. Salah's come under a lot of criticism. People are saying about dropping him and perhaps taking him out the firing line. It's not really been working for him the way it had done last season. Like you said, for things to go right, everything has to be in the right place. For things to go wrong, everything has to be in the right place for it to go wrong, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It can be that two of the same, can't it? 03717 22 3344. It's Majestic Pardew. It's Sunday night. The sound of the Beatles. Paperback writer for the Beatles there, and then into this Wet, Wet, Wet was Sweet Little Mystery. And then Hanson with Bop, recorded in 95 and released in 1997. Yeah, Bop, it's actually a great song. Very good. For more information on this band, they are an American pop band from Tulsa, Oklahoma, formed by brothers Isaac, Taylor, and Zach.
Do you reckon they're still talking? You know, still like buddies.
Oh yeah, no, they're still performing.
Not like the
together.
Gallaghers, like in and out, up and down.
No, they're still performing together.
Oh, good.
And
but it's that strange song is when you're singing it when you're 45. That one.
they're really good at harmonising together. Really good. That is your quiz. If you think you know the answer to the mystery football quiz, text us on 81089 or WhatsApp us on 03 717 223344. Coming up next, we have the final words on all the weekend's actions. That's coming up later on. But still, we are talking about Liverpool and what's going wrong there. So let's go over to Gary, who's a Liverpool fan, who joins us on the show. Good evening, Gary.
Good evening, guys. How are you doing today?
Well, I've had better weekends. I'm sure you've had better weekends.
I'm good, Gary. I'm fine.
Brilliant. Firstly, I just want to say thank you because I can't stand me Sunday nights doing work, night shifts and that, but you guys help me out a lot, so
Love
thank you.
that. Listen, you're our Sunday night family, we like to call you lot.
Wonderful, thank you. Am I allowed to say who I think it is, the mystery footballer as well?
Can we? I'll ask producer Ross. Can he have a go? Text in, he said.
That's nice.
It's because I'm driving, so I can't. But anyways, to Liverpool. So now we're talking about recruiting earlier with the Spurs and Arsenal. Good recruitment, bad recruitment.
Yeah.
Typically Liverpool, I say 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 get it right. But this summer, I just feel got massively wrong with the death of Jota, getting rid of Diaz and Nunes, and they were massive influence in the changing room. They were like happy, there's a great energy there.
Yeah.
And I feel
People. I say it, Gary. People underestimate that. It's a good point. Energy in the dressing room.
Yeah, but it's like losing not just 4 to 7 players, but even Kostas Tsimikas was a massive character in the changing room, and we've lost like 6 to 7 of those massive characters and just brought 6, 7 people in to expect them to become best friends. And it does make a big impact. I haven't played football for, not professionally, semi-professionally, but you play with new players, you have to work out each other's game. You might not like them. There's loads of things going on. I just feel that there's such a big impact, like that energy at the moment. And my other point being, before I get myself lost in this, it's Zach. I love Nunes so much that I'm just not having it, Zach. I'm not buying into it.
Do you know what, mate? I said it time and time again. You didn't need him. Ekitike was the guy for you. He looks like the right fit, and you should have went and got Gahey, not Isaac.
Absolutely, but it's our strikers. We've always had, like from Dalglish to Keegan to Rushing, we've always had hard-working strikers. I look at Isaac. That guy just doesn't look. Even at Newcastle, I used to think he was lazy. Then he's come to Liverpool. I thought he's not a Liverpool striker. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but not a Liverpool-style player.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, Ian Rush was probably the greatest closing down striker you've ever seen, by the way. I mean, playing, and seeing him play was unbelievable. Anyway, let's go back to Isaac. I think he's got problems scoring goals at Liverpool. And I said this earlier in the season when he first went there, because he feeds off fast balls in behind the back four and in behind centre backs. Like, his arrival and timing is really good on those type of crosses. Crosses coming in, inverted, i.e. right-footed players on the left-hand side, bending them in. That's not his game. So I worry for him in terms of scoring goals, let alone the work rate. So that's a double compounding, Gary, there. I think your previous point possibly has been overlooked about funny characters and, that dressing room change might have more of an impact than we thought.
Well, yeah.
I think that's a good point.
You mentioned the likes, we know Nunes is gone. Who else went? Luis Diaz, Trent Alexander, Harvey Elliott. There's a whole core of people. Yeah. Obviously, with losing Diego Jota as well.
Yeah, and you never know. The dynamic of the changing room is such that okay, you might think the big stars dominate it, but they don't. No. Very rarely. They usually, they're so professional, they sit in the corner and, they just do their job. But, it is the characters that actually create that or relieve a lot of the tension that is around.
They energise.
And they energise people.
Even doing the old Spurs podcast, a little plug, Inside Spurs.
Oh.
We're recording tomorrow. When we have David Bentley come and he comes up, hey!
Yeah.
He's vibrant, you know what I mean? I love Bentley because of that.
Yeah.
I can imagine, I've been in the dressing room with him. He does funny stuff.
Yeah, that's right. When I think of my manager career and playing career, I can think of so many players who were absolutely brilliant. I've got to give a mention, the special mention, Andy Hughes, who I used to have at Reading. He was absolutely brilliant in the change room. He wasn't particularly a brilliant footballer, although he tells me he was the best number 10 I ever signed. But that's the type of character he was. Yeah, and Ian Wright, who obviously when you see on the telly, you see, you see him and everybody loves him, etc., etc. But he was a force of nature in the dressing room, and these characters are an essential for a winning team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that dynamic may well have changed, and we wouldn't know about that because obviously, as it still stands, I've got a little thing for you, by the way. The cameras are not allowed on the change rooms unless it's Netflix, and then it's edited out, so you ain't seeing it anyway. Do you know in the Ladies League this year, their new TV deal, you get an in-game interview with the manager while the game's going on?
While the game's going on?
Yeah,
because I know we're doing the sidelines at half time. They're speaking.
I'm sure I've got that right. Yeah. So as the game's going on, you can get an interview with a manager. That's like in the contract, in the TV contract.
What they
the WSL. And I think that's wrong. But anyway, that's might be where the game's going, and an old fuddy like me might not like it.
03717 223344 is the number to call us here on the final word with Madge and Pards. Still to come, we're going to reveal our mystery footballer, and we have lots of other things in.
Gary was going to reveal our mystery footballer. He sounded like he had it. I think
he knew it.
Yeah, he knew it.
03717 223344 is Madge. It's Pards. It's Sunday night. It's talkSPORT. It was an incredible weekend in the Premier League this weekend, so let's turn our attention back to the North London derby as Arsenal swept aside Spurs 4-1. It was a hard watch as a Spurs fan. Spurs didn't even show up, barely laid the glove on them. But Arsenal, in particular, Eberechi Eze, Alan Pardew, how good was he?
Well, a masterclass in fluid football. The set play team that Arsenal portrayed as was thrown out of the window, and in come the languid Eze superstar, classy approach. Find him in the pocket. It will just bring it either to the right or to the left and bend it in the corner, which he did on 3 occasions in such glorious fashion. And it couldn't happen to a nicer chap, a neighbour and colleague of mine. And Eze, I doff thy cap.
I doff thy cap because he is a quality player and a player that should have been at Spurs, realistically, because there was talks of him going. Arsenal seemed to have pulled out early in July, that they didn't want him. And, of course, it was only when an injury to Havertz occurred, this deal that Spurs looked like they were getting over the line, finally...
Well, that's the story that's been put out there, but who knows? They might have always been in the background. He never actually did the deal. So in defence of the Spurs hierarchy, it might well have been that his agent and Eze were going, I really want to go to Arsenal because obviously it was his boyhood club.
But we did
It was his boyhood club, right? Wasn't it?
We did have Fabrizio Romano talk about, here we go with Eze to Spurs. Like, there's got to be something in that. When he says, here we go, it normally means here we go. He'd done an 80% here we go, him going to Spurs. So obviously it looked like it was there only for the last minute for them to go, no, we're going to get the deal done properly, and Arsenal come in. Now, following a 4-1 win, Gunners gaffer Mikel Arteta spoke with talkSPORT's Alex Crick, who asked him his thoughts on the hat-trick hero Eberechi Eze.
This is the first thing that I looked when I went in the dressing room. I said, how many players have they done that? And I could not recall recently anybody doing that.
4, I think.
And I know it's 4, and a long time ago. So, yeah, magnificent. He needs to enjoy it. He needs to believe in him like we all do, because he can bring something very, very special to this team.
Did you know he was this good?
Well, to be fair, when I spoke to Thomas Tuchel, I said, how good is he? He said to me, one of the best I've seen. I rate him one of the best in terms of talent. If we add him now, his work rate, the willingness that he has to play for this team, and the joy that I sense every single day when he's in the building, we have a special player there.
That was Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta speaking to Alex Crook, who asked him about his thoughts on hat-trick hero Eberechi Eze. And, you know, he even said, Thomas Tuchel said he's one of the best he's seen. Listen, the stats don't lie, Pards. Arsenal to win the league?
Yep. In terms of where they are at the moment, they're kind of notching up all the numbers that you would like to see if you was an owner of a football club. Goals for, 24 goals against 6, played 12, 9 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat, goal difference of 18, 29 points, form 5, 4 wins and a draw. Yes, that does sound to me like champions elect. But a long way to go.
A long way to go indeed, and a long way to go for Thomas Frank and Spurs. A nightmare for Thomas Frank. This was the game where people that are backing him, like myself, hoped he could show something to show the naysayers that, look, you know, I've got something in my locker here.
No, but hold it. Let's go back to all the names we talked about earlier. Conte, Mourinho, you know, all been through the hand.
That song, innit?
Right?
Conte, Mourinho, Mason.
Yeah, all that, right? Let's hope we don't go down the road with Thomas Frank with this, where we get a split, where you got half the Spurs fan base.
We already have. We have.
That's what I'm saying. But the reason you get the split with Conte, Mourinho, and all of them is because the squad ain't good enough. Forget about the manager for a minute, because the manager's trying to tinker, trying to find a solution.
Right.
For the fact that these teams can't compete with the big clubs.
I want this now on our podcast, right, to say as well. You're going to put it out there. That Spurs squad is not good enough, Alex.
No, not for that. Not to challenge for the Champions League positions, which they should be. Because I don't know who it was that we had on earlier. Gary, it might have been. I can't remember. Who said that, we are a massive club. Who was it who was having the rant? Matt. That Matt was going on and on and on about what a big club, massive club. And you can't deny that the numbers dictate that you are a massive club. They do. The stats are there in terms of finance and everything else. The stadium, blah, blah.
You know what they've won over the years, the 6th most in the country, etc. So it's a top 6 club. Yes, you're right. And that squad for you,
not good enough.
It's not good enough. So
Thomas Frank is having to. He's gonna. At times he's gonna get it very, very right. And there will be times like it today, unfortunately for him, in a North London derby, he got it very wrong. And I'm sure he'd play his part in that as well at some stage and say, look, okay, maybe I got the setup wrong for that particular game. He'll learn, hopefully, from that, what's happened today.
Absolutely. But is he going to be given time?
That's the other issue. And we have this new board at Spurs who sounded like very ambitious. It was very much like, Daniel Levy's the past. And even though we are connected to him and always been around him, now we're in charge and we're going to take it forward in a much more positive manner. Well, let's see how positive they are when we get to January.
Well, that's the only way we're going to be able to tell it, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think he's fudging it. He's going to have to fudge it. If I was Spurs manager, I'll look at the squad and, okay, it's a decent squad. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a disastrous squad. I don't think you have anything like the season you had last year in terms of the league form. I think the league was a lot better. I think he's done reasonably well up until today with the squad that he's got. And I think that's where they are. I think you're a 8th, 9th team.
Okay, so for a Champions League squad, yeah, I'm going to just throw some names at you quickly. Vicario, good enough or not for a Champions League? The keeper?
No.
Dragusin?
I don't like really talking about individual players. I don't think that's particularly fair on me.
Yeah, but okay, we're going to pick
because I don't know them.
We're going to pick out the ones that we do think, like Polina, for example.
Yes.
Madison?
Yes. You're talking about to play in the Champions League and win the Champions League, because that's a different thing.
Christian Romero?
Yeah.
Van der Ven.
Yeah, these players can play in the Champions League. But listen, I think the Champions League, large parts of the Champions League, is not at the same level as the Premier League. That's why the Premier League teams are favourites to win the Champions League, because the Premier League is of a higher standard when you go through the whole system of what it is. There are games in the Champions League that are easy in the Premier League. So when you are setting up your team, like when Arne Slot's looking at that PSV Eindhoven game, I'm sure he'll be concentrating more on the game he's got on Sunday than on the Champions League game. It'll be, he would have to have a stronger team, if that makes sense. So, the Spurs could have a great run in one of the cups, and I hope they do, and I hope they put this day behind them. But is the squad of the same level as Manchester City? No. Is it at the same level as Chelsea? Not in my opinion. Is it at the same level as Arsenal?
No
Obviously
way.
not. Is it at the same level as Crystal Palace now and Aston Villa?
Villa probably
not a lot in it.
Probably not.
Not a lot in it, is there?
Not at all. They need to move on quickly, and they go away to PSG next. That can't be easy pass.
And you look at Man United, who could win. If they beat Everton tomorrow, they go into a Champions League position, right into 21 points.
Yeah, no Europe for them is going to be massively helpful for them this season.
Yeah.
Do we think that Thomas Frank is out of his depth at Spurs, or is he the right man for the job?
I don't think he's out of his depth. I think he has to grow into the job a little bit and grow into the expectation and the fan base and the history of that club, because he's never actually been at a club as big as that. And I think that's a growing process for him.
When did that happen to you as a manager? Which club?
Well, from going from Reading to West Ham.
Yeah.
It was a significant jump for me. And, the size of the club, the history, the ex-players who heap pressure on you. Like, for example, I told that story about Tony Cottee, as I arrived, I don't want Alan Pardew as manager. I don't think he's done enough to warrant being West Ham manager. That was his opinion. That's fine, but that's what you got to cope with walking into a football club of that size. So it's not easy, and I think tonight will be a tough night for him. He won't sleep well. He'll probably be watching the game going over it in his mind. He'll probably get about 2 hours sleep, get up in the morning, have a strong coffee, and go again.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, Arsenal now sitting pretty at the top of the league, looking like they could be
impressive today.
Yeah, they could be running away with it. So let's talk about the title race, because Manchester City blew it. They've gone to St James's Park, and they've lost 2-1 They reacted quickly after the first goal goes in. I thought, here we go, this is where Man City step up. But then they conceded another. How much of a blow was it to lose at St James's Park for them yesterday?
Well, I think just because the momentum.
Another loss.
Yeah, well, the momentum they were gaining. It looked like, here we go. This is the Man City we know. They're back, they're running. But to go there, was a tricky fixture that. To go after the international break to St James's Park on a Saturday evening, all the Geordies dressed up, ready to go straight out, getting on it after the game. They're all up for it. It was one of those electric nights, it looked
really
like.
was.
And they played, and to be fair to Eddie, he kept the team in the zone. And when you keep the team in the zone, i.e., at it, there's every chance you get a result. I remember when we beat Man United, that was an evening kickoff, I think, when we beat Man United 3-0. We just steamrolled at them. And
it wasn't evening, it was Saturday.
Yeah, and Newcastle very much can use the power of that stadium. And Eddie needed that yesterday because he was under a little bit of pressure himself.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
and you know what? Like Man City losing that game, like you said, I feel it really spoilt their momentum.
Yeah.
They were in a flow.
Yeah, exactly.
How hard is it to get momentum back after that loss? How do you get back up?
Well, obviously you're going to have to, lean on the positives that come out of that game. It wasn't a poor performance. But I think they deserve to get beat, and I think they're going to need to look at that. And particularly the central midfield area, which we've said before with Newcastle, that central area is a real strength of theirs.
Absolutely.
I think they bossed that area, and Man City will be desperate to get Rodri back. I'm pretty sure.
Listen, Chelsea, they're so hit and miss at times that I can't work them out. They won against Burnley, which puts them into a great position now. Are Chelsea title contenders?
You've got Palmer to come back.
Yep.
You got this young boy from Brazil who is like electric. He didn't even play yesterday. They rested him. They've got so many offensive tools that they've got the firepower. I just don't think they can keep goals out enough. The goalie in the back four or whatever he plays looks loose.
It's so different to, say, Arsenal's, which looks so solid that you can't see who's going to score against them.
Yeah.
With Chelsea looking like everyone can score against them.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of...
Yeah. And they make there was an error made by the centre half in the Burnley game, which just doesn't happen at that level. Fleming took it on his chest. It was like chipped over. He misjudged the ball that was coming in. He kind of, the length of it, he misjudged it, the centre back, and Fleming chested it in the air and volleyed it over the bar. It was a crucial moment for Burnley if he'd scored that.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of errors that they make.
Absolutely. So I think Arsenal are just the best positioned team in terms of squad depth and development, time they've spent together, a dressing room that's united, players coming in that fit in that style.
And the stats.
And the stats as well. It just looks all set up for Arsenal to win the league on, the 24th of November? People are going to be hearing this, the 23rd, 24th of November? Yeah. It's mad, but still plenty of football to come, though. We got don't forget Chelsea.
I remember. I think it might be Atkinson. Man United went 10 wins. This was before the Premier League. The first 10 games, they won all 10. Didn't win the league.
Oh, well.
So, there you go.
Next Sunday, Chelsea take on Arsenal. How big is this game? Because that is going to be like pretty much the top three, one and three against each other.
Yeah, well, they've all got Champions League games this week, and it's going to take a little bit out. It's going to take a little bit out the locker in terms of energy, and then Chelsea at home, 4:30, stadium buoyant. They're now right up the top of the league. We can turn Arsenal over. They'll have that belief. Tricky game for Arsenal. And you could expect Chelsea to get something out of that game, but the way Arsenal are looking at the moment, unlikely.
It doesn't look like it could be going any other way than an Arsenal win.
I bet it's a good big game for Arsenal. Well, I think if they turn Chelsea over there, you'd have to go, ooh.
Like you said as well, with the Chelsea keeper, I just think there's too many good set pieces coming in, etc.
Yeah, they're so powerful at set play. Even today, that they had a couple of free kicks from Saka.
They didn't even utilise.
They had 2 from Saka and 1 from Rice that just needed the tiniest touch. And if Gabriel would have been there, because he jumped 7'6", by the way, there would have been.
No, I agree with that. Let's talk about Leeds as well, because they were 1-0 up against Villa. I thought, wow, this could be a huge victory for Daniel Farke and Leeds. There was boos at the end of the game. It was Leeds' 7th Premier League defeat. Daniel Farke is under huge pressure. Big shout out to Ross, the producer. Relegation zone taking shape. Wolves bottom, Burnley 19th, and Leeds 18th. That seems about fair, doesn't it?
It does.
I worry for Daniel Farke. Can he see? I don't think he sees it out past Christmas.
Well, I don't know about that. I think he's done great at Leeds.
I've done excellent at Leeds. Not listen, part time. Must defend myself here. I've done excellent at Leeds.
You have.
Because of Premier League, it's a different situation. It's a different ball game. But
and your team played well today, Daniel. They did.
Yeah, we played well in phases, but it was the loss of the ball. Today I need the Ellen Road faithful to be like the 12th man, and I think we dropped off.
Can I talk to you about things managers say, right?
Yes.
So one of the things they say as a kind of defence is moments in the game.
That's it.
And margins, right? They say the margins are so tight and the moments in the game we didn't take and they took, and that was the difference. But that is the difference in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You can't, when the moment comes like Fleming had for Burnley, one of those mid-table teams would take that opportunity. Now, that's no slight on Fleming, because I think he's a very good player, actually. But this is the moments. I went to, obviously I did the commentary yesterday for Fulham against Sunderland. And Sunderland, I could see where their transfer policy's gone. And I think they've done and they might have done the blueprint for the Premier League in the right way, because they've gone for legs, energy, power, right? Yeah. Wow, they can run that team, right? Their work rate was off the level.
They don't stop running. They don't stop running.
And they got pace and energy and good technical quality. That's enough. That might be enough. And enough technical quality in the team to actually stay in the division. Now, when I look at Burnley, I don't see that pace, that power, that energy. I do see it a little bit in Leeds. So if I was to have
here they come, Leeds United.
Leeds could threaten somebody, but I don't know who else. When you look at teams above them, right? Would Brentford get sucked in? I don't think so. Would Everton get sucked in? I don't think so. Newcastle, no. Fulham, maybe. Nottingham Forest, no, I don't think so. West Ham, maybe. So there's not a lot to aim for when you're down there, is there?
No. SD message us saying, is Daniel Farke Irish? I don't know if he's Irish or not. Are you telling me, SD? Thank you. Right. Thank you very much, Pards. Still to come before we hand the baton over to Danny Kelly on the Trans-Europe Express. We will reveal who our mystery footballer is, and Pards has been waiting for this all night to tell us what happened in Vegas. Doesn't stay in Vegas after the controversial F1 race this morning. That's still to come on The Final Word on talkSPORT with Irish Daniel Farke. The Beatles and Paperback Writer was song number 1. Sweet Little Mystery from Wet 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 was song number 2. And song number 3, Hanson with Umbop here. The best of the 90s on 90s talkSPORT. No, it's not actually a compilation. It is the 3 songs that gave us our mystery footballer, who, of course, was the one and only...
Well, we're lucky that we have him here in the studio. It's Mr. Alan Hansen.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm not Irish, that's for sure. I'm Scottish, okay?
And I thought, while we have you, obviously, and you were you are the answer to the competition.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And obviously, you were a massive pundit back in the day, and a very, very good pundit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably the number 1 paid pundit of all time.
Probably. The good old days, eh?
What's your opinion of this Liverpool team? You know, where do you see it? Do you think you could actually play in it?
For me, it's bad. It's terrible. Defensively, it's shocking. Why they didn't get Gay, I don't know. They spent all that money on Isaac. Looks lazy. Dreadful for me. Terrible. Bad.
And particularly the 2 centre halves. I mean, obviously you mentioned there you think they should have taken Gahey.
Absolutely.
Do you think they can resolve that with what they've got?
Well, at the moment, it doesn't look like they're going to resolve anytime soon. Anfield used to be a cauldron when I played there. Now, it looks weak, it's bad. You know, there's no atmosphere. And Slaughter's like in a lot of trouble at the moment. But I'd give him the grace. You know, won the league last year. For me, he's got time. But I do think defensively it's the worst I've ever seen Liverpool. And I've seen bad defenses. Lovren, he was bad. But these guys at the moment, it's not good.
Well, it's lovely to speak to you, Alan, and I'm so pleased you're feeling better. And
absolutely,
the news is very good about you.
I remember you don't win anything with kids.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Right, the first person who got that right was Tex. Thank you, Tex. Also, big shout to Danny the Black Cabbie, who's also got it right, and he's cheesed off with Spurs tonight. And also Liverpool fan Gary, who spoke to us earlier, he got it right as well. So, legend Alan Hansen, absolutely fantastic. Eh? Right, huge story in this morning in the Las Vegas F1. What happened, Pards?
Yeah, well, Lando Norris trying to become world champion. Obviously,
you don't win anything with kids.
You don't win anything with kids. I mean, he's a little kid, and he was quite comfortable. Verstappen's putting him under pressure. He's won the race. He comes in second. Everybody's happy. Piastri comes in 4th, which is great. That means he's cemented his position for the world championship. No, both cars disqualified, and you know why they're disqualified?
Why?
Because the technicians have to take it down to such a level to the margins. You know, we're talking about the margins, and in the moment they got it wrong, because the car, when it's measured at the end, they measure everything. You know, how much fuel you got left, etc., etc. They were too low, so the skid plates were too low to the ground, meaning the car was probably set up to go far. It goes faster. It's closer to the ground, so therefore disqualified. So that's down to the engineering team, nothing to do with the drivers. And they were actually trying to protect it at the end, meaning that they were going into corners slower, trying to get round, with using less fuel and trying to hopefully not fall foul of the technicalities. So they knew they were in issues. Nevertheless, he's still in the prime seat for a Great Britain, have a world champion again. F1.
Absolutely.
Come on, Lando.
In other news, 19th of December in Miami, AJ to fight Jake Paul reported staggering £140 million prize pot on offer.
As Rachel Reeves goes to the budget this week to try and get a few pennies for the NHS and a few pennies for the railway system off everybody without raising taxes. And big AJ is going to go and get what? How much?
Apparently it's £140 million prize pot on offer.
Oh, okay, so about 50 million each.
Yeah.
Something like that. Nice.
Mad, isn't it? Pards, it's a pleasure, even when Spurs get battered at the Emirates.
Yeah, I felt for you today, Madge.
I handled it well.
You did. I mean, usually, you have a tendency to bite at certain situations.
I don't need a bite. I'm the greatest.
But you held it all together today. Well done, and well done to Arsenal, particularly Eze. And I'm chuffed for him. And here we go. Let's hope it's not a procession, that the Premier League has had a weekend where it's all gone Arsenal's way, but weeks to come, it will even itself out a little bit, and we'll have a competitive Premier League.
And don't forget, if you want to hear the fallout from that tomorrow night, 10 o'clock on the Sports Bar, Jamie O'Hara has to face Jason Cundy after that, and I wouldn't want to be Jamie. That's all from us today. The talkSPORT Breakfast Show's back tomorrow from 6 a.m. And yes, you're reading this right. It's time for Big Al Brazil to step it up and those for 5 days. What's going on? Good morning. I can't wait for that. But will Big Al make it the full 5 days? talkSPORT Bet, of course, is our partner for all of those odds. Find out on talkSPORT Breakfast from Monday morning. He'll be joined by Rangers legend Ali McCoist. But if you want some music in the morning, the brilliant Chris Evans is over on Virgin Radio, and there's live Premier League action as Manchester United take on Ross's Everton live on talkSPORT tomorrow evening from 7. The Final Word returns next Sunday, but coming up next here on talkSPORT, it's time for all the latest from across the continent as Paul Pogba returns to the football pitch on Trans Europe Express. From Imagine Pards,
it's a very good night.